you don't need your passports. He's not going over that international line. But that is Canada right in front of you. We talked a little bit about that ice boom that connects from Canada to our break wall. So you see our break wall. And that ice boom would actually go to the left of that building directly in front of us with the round red roof. And then it protects the water intake as well as our hydropower farther down the river. Now that, as I said, that round building with the red roof is actually Buffalo's water intake. So what happens is water gravity drops about 22 feet below lake level, and it travels over to that building off to your right called the Colonel North Pumping Station through a 12-foot diameter pipe or tunnel system over there, where they clean it and send it back into Buffalo for our drinking water. You can see the Peace Bridge off to the right in the distance. So if you're looking to get over Canada, we got a couple different bridges. That's one of them, the closest to Buffalo here. In Buffalo, we like to say you can get anywhere in 20 minutes, including Canada. Oh, it's beautiful in here, isn't it? Yeah, you gotta come up. Now you see the barges working off to the right. We talked about those seiches and the havoc that they can wreak with raising and lowering the water. But at the same time, they wreak havoc with our breakwater system here as well. So it seems like we're always in the process of rebuilding those. So as Captain Wines right off to the right is a section of breakwall right off to your right there. And in 1958, we had many boat disasters, but we actually had a lighthouse there called the Buffalo Breakwater Lighthouse, and it really looked like a house sitting on there. And unfortunately that year, a freighter was coming out of our Black Rock Canal, which is behind us, and it swung just a little too wide. It nailed the lighthouse, knocked it 20 feet off its foundation, and put it at a 15-degree list. So she's not out there anymore. They had to take her down, but while she was still up waiting to be taken down, they actually called her the Buffalo Leaning Lighthouse, and she made national news for us. In the distance, directly in front of you, you can actually see that ADM elevator. You'll see the Ohio Street Bridge in the distance that we went over. So we actually came quite a bit farther than that, too.
It's a little tour today.
Such a nice view of the city.
Want a little bit more clean out, Jessa.
As we head back into the river, you're looking at the on the right off to the right is the 1833 Buffalo Lighthouse. She's no longer used for navigation purposes because she is inside the breakwater, but she lights up every night and is just the most beautiful beacon right back into Buffalo. But as you look into the city skyline there, you'll see our city hall off to your left with the round dome, decorative dome up there. And if you had a little bit extra time, I believe it's the 28th floor, they actually have a balcony that goes all around the entire thing, and you can see the entire city from up there. Just have to check on their hours. They have limited in the sense of work hours, so you'd have to check. Now directly in front of us, if you take a look, you can see a red and white cell tower off in the distance. But I want you to bring your eyes forward a little, and you're going to start seeing take shape what looks like two miniature statues of Liberty. And those actually are. So those are on the Liberty Bank building. And when the Liberty Bank bought that building in 1925, we were celebrating our 100-year anniversary of the Erie Canal. So they actually put those statues up there, one facing east and one facing west to signify the opening of the Erie Canal from east to west. That's exactly why they're like that, right? The things we don't know until we know it, huh?
This one.
Okay, yeah. We don't know what we don't know,
I
right?
can't see
Yeah.
it on the camera that well.
So off to your right is the
but
Buffalo
I
Coast
see
Guard
it.
sector
I can
back
see it
there.
from over here.
But as we come back into the river, it's a great time to sort of wind up our Erie Canal history and tell you what happened to the Erie Canal. But the glory days were sort of short. And the reason is even though it was a revolution in transportation, and they actually paid back that $7 million within 10 years' time, its glory days were short because we started building rail lines almost parallel to the canal. And rail was faster, more efficient, and more cost effective the more they built. At the same time, we have the interstate, and then eventually the Welland Canal opens, and the final nail in the coffin was the St. Lawrence Seaway when it opened in 1959. And that's because when the St. Lawrence Seaway opened, it opened the east and the west truly all the way. From the Atlantic to Duluth, Minnesota on Superior, you could go east to west without ever offloading here in Buffalo ever again. So unfortunately, Buffalo's business declined along with that. But as you've heard along this trip, we've had our glory days, the #1 grain port in the world by 1850. We've become the #1 flour producing city in the early 1900s. So we really, really had some great days. And we didn't transition early on too well when that industry started to decline. But I hope what I've shown you is we are recapturing, reinvigorating the city, and really recreating our identity as a beautiful summer destination. We use our water. Those poor geese, I don't understand. Are they going to go right between us there, Cap? We are a pontoon boat. Don't worry. They're going to come right out the other end. I sure hope, and not minced meat, I hope, off the other end. So we are repurposing, recreating, redesigning, and really celebrating our history. And instead of wallowing in self-pity, it does take time. It takes money. And as I've shown you, it takes volunteers, a lot of volunteers. But Buffalo's definitely recreated itself. One of the interesting things is right here off to the left, let me tell you this, where the flag is was actually the site of the first DART elevator. So when that DART elevator opened in 1842, the concern was, what are we going to do with all these men that are scoopers or working in the holds of the boat? But as I mentioned, they didn't have to worry too long because Buffalo's economy and our business just increased dramatically. And it was no longer, what are we going to do with all these scoopers, but where are we going to find more? Well, it happened to also be the time of the potato famine. So our Irish immigrants here started writing letters home, and before you know it, people just started flooding over because this truly was the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and Buffalo is just the place to be back then. Off to your left, one of the things you're seeing now is our new African American Memorial Monument, supposed to be open mid-September. So the Naval Park is constantly growing as well. All of these are growing. Directly off to your right of the boat is that City Ship Canal. So the City Ship Canal is where General Mills' boat goes and offloads. They dock right, or tie off right under the skyway there. And now so off to your right also is the outer harbor. So the inner harbor is on your left, or canal side. The outer harbor is on your right. So if you wanted to get to the outer harbor, we actually have a bike ferry right where we're going to dock. And for $1, you don't have to have a bike, but for $1, you can take that bike ferry. It's the shortest boat ride in the world, across the river. Get off there and walk the trails over there. A lot of activity going on over there as well. That's why all the bikes are on the boat, exactly. Well, that boat is actually docked there, but as we come into here, there's a bike ferry. So thank you so much for joining us today. As I said, I could talk for 12 hours. You're lucky it was only 90 minutes of me. I have 6 kids, and they had me start this about 10 years ago with the intention that I'd come home too tired to talk more, but it backfired on them, so I get home and I'm sort of ramped up and talk even more. So we could talk forever, but thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, if you happen to do TripAdvisor, if you could leave us a review. This is the Harbor Queen Buffalo History Tour. If you loved it, my name is Kim. If you didn't, my name is Bartender Patty.
See the rest of the videos.
Thank you so much. If you guys will just do me a favor, stay in your seats. If you're upper deck, stay up here, and down below, stay in your seats. Cap will give us the all clear as soon as we get